Hello, this is Lucia, and I'm here with Rich Mansor from Zamman Ensemble, a new upcoming band here in San Diego. Rich, could you tell us about Zamman? What distinguishes your band from other bands?
Well, it's 2017 now, and when you think of Arabic music, I guess, live Arabic music, probably the first thing that you would say when you see a band like us is, there's 8 of you guys, sometimes 9 or 10 or more. You don't see that no more. So right off the bat, the size of the group is probably number one. Most groups you see now are 3. You're lucky if you're a 4 or 5 piece, and I mean lucky. Sometimes it's even a 2 piece. And by 2 piece I mean a keyboardist who's almost doing everything that's pre-recorded, and he's kind of doing what I like to call, karaoke keyboard. Everything's transposed and sampled, and then you have the singer there. And again, from there, those kind of groups are lucky if they have some kind of electronic drummer. What a lot of people don't understand, though, is that that sort of group, there's dozens and dozens and absolute dozens of them all over the country right now, and they started forming back, I won't say many years ago, but especially over the course of the turn of the century, because what started happening was venue promoters and people like that would start paying bands less money, because when digital technology sort of came about, they tried to replace the human element with a something that doesn't cost, like a computer or pushing a button.
And how did that affect the quality of music?
It affected it completely. In a horrible way, because see, once you remove the human element, you remove the live feel that guys like me and gals like yourself miss. Because you can sit there and say all day long, oh, I can do what they did back then all by myself because the technology exists for it. But one thing people don't understand is that you got to go back to the early days, perhaps when rock and roll first formed, or because if you go back to the 50s, I would say, actually no, I would say the 60s. It wasn't just America that changed, it was the world. Music in the entire world changed. When the Beatles came and Jimi Hendrix and Kulthum's and all, you look at music on the world, it was a big deal in that era, that late 60s era.
Do you think that's why the music sounded more richer?
Absolutely, because the musicians back then, they didn't have iPhones and iPads and Nintendos, and they just played. It wasn't perfect, but they played. They played from the heart, and they didn't choreograph everything. And now everything is like you sit in your bedroom, and I have my keyboard. I can make a gong. Why do you have a gong? Well, I can do that with my keyboard. Or why do you have this effect? I can do that with my laptop. Problem is, those same people go to a show and they bring their laptop with them. And it's a complete joke. I look at that and say, well, this is what I paid for? Am I paying just to see somebody push a button? Even if everything's so perfect, but it's not what I think people want to see it today. I can't tell how many times I've seen and I've heard from people that they just miss the old stuff, but they think it doesn't exist. And again, it really doesn't. Our band wasn't easy to put together either. It took some serious one-on-one with each member on my end to kind of tell them, hey, this is the story, this is my agenda, and this is what I'd like to do, and we're all here. It's just a matter of coming together and kind of being sort of an influence on some of these duos or trios that exist, and showing them that, hey, what you guys are doing is all wrong. It might be perfect in your idea, but in your mind, that is.
Now, there's 8 members in your band now.
Right now.
Do you see yourself having any more members in addition to that?
Absolutely, I do. And we're actually still seeking some members. It's not a high objective at the moment, but yeah, absolutely. I do plan on employing some other musicians. We're sort of borderline orchestra now. If you really look at our band as it exists right now, it really is an orchestra minus the string section. if you really take a visual look at some of our videos and stuff like that,
For musicians who might be interested in joining Zamman, who would they contact?
I would say they would contact myself. Just contact me and tell me why you think it is you would want to be a part of this. How you can be of assistance to it, and not like assistance to yourself, because that's number one in my book is when something gets going. There's an old saying: a lot of people want to jump in the boat when somebody else is pedaling it, or paddling it, and it's easy to do that, but to jump in the boat and paddle yourself, that means more to me than somebody just jumping on, because at that point anybody can jump on. Everybody wants to be a part of something successful, and I'm not suggesting we're successful, but I guess the fact that a group like this already has formed, there is something to be said about that. So as
you want people with commitment?
Absolutely, commitment is probably number one. A lot of people usually ask about money, and everybody wants money. We all want money, but most of us didn't get involved with the music because of that. We got into it because we want to make some kind of change first. My only advice to anybody that is just starting off with music is certainly don't do it or don't do it for money.
And for viewers, both dancers and musicians and just fans, how can we contact you?
Well, there's the website, www.zamman, that's two M's, ZAMMAN music.com. Email's fine, it's info@zammanmusic.com. There's our phone number, which is 619-784-3847. We're all on Facebook. You can look up Rich Mansor, that's me, and Zamman's on Facebook. So we're pretty easy to get a hold of. We answer pretty fast, as long as it pertains to something not spammy. I get a lot of follow me on Instagrams on our YouTube, which doesn't make sense.
Does your band have plans or aspirations to make some recordings?
Yeah, well, absolutely. I'm also a studio engineer, and I do produce, and I hate the word produce. It's not used the way it's supposed to be used anymore, because it's highly misdefined. But we definitely plan on doing some recordings very soon. So that's definitely on our minds, right? Probably later in this year, I would say, but we're focusing a little bit more on live shows right now.
Well, thank you, Rich. We look forward to your next event on August 18th.
Thank you.